hammock, we're going to recline and enjoy life for a brief period. Alright, I'm absolutely destroyed. This feels incredible to lie back. This is the view. Do some meditation. I do the Andrew Huberman's non-sleep deep rest meditation. Has incredible benefits. Essentially lessons of evolutionary neuropsychology from a hammock, but doing this can help you restore lost sleep. You're focusing on your breathing, being aware of that and nothing else, visualizing parts of your body. So there's a region of the brain that's responsible for your location in space, and that is key to forming an ego, an identity that we have once we know where we are in space. So book by Yalden and Newberg about spiritual or meditative experiences from a scientific perspective. It shows us that scientists have found that meditating creates over a long period creates structural changes in the brain. When you're meditating, this region responsible for your location in space is dampened, and as a result you feel a great sense of awe, because you are kind of connecting to something that is greater than yourself. And a lot of these kind of like communal spiritual experiences, not necessarily through religious ones, which are kind of false ideas, but they really, if everyone shares a communally held belief, even if it's wrong, it can be very beneficial. The social effects are really wonderful, but really we look at something greater than ourselves, and it helps us have all kinds of physiological and neuropsychological benefits. I think I don't want to rock side to side too much while espousing on all this, but an interesting fact about neuropsychology is essentially your brain is a prediction machine. And so if you're rocking back and forth, and particularly if you deprive your brain of, for example, a stimulus of knowing where it is, it enters into a kind of state where you might get motion sickness. And that's an evolved adaptation, you see, because if the body and brain found that the brain wasn't able to predict things properly if it was acting irrationally, through being deprived of like stimulus to show it where it is, your body thinks that it's poisoned, because our evolutionary ancestors would have faced poisoning when confronted with this kind of like mental like jittery movement, etc. So what the body does when it thinks it's poisoned is to vomit or want to vomit, and you feel sick, and that's an evolutionary response. It's perfectly natural, but the way to do it is to fix in the distance, and that way your brain has more information about quite what's happening. The brain is not perfect. It predicts. It has no real awareness. It acts automatically to keep you alive. Arguably have very little free will in the consciousness that you do have. But essentially the brain will act automatically, so you want to give it every chance you have to get the right inputs, and a lot of those inputs can be are in fact things like light, things like temperature. These are the things we've faced over millions of years since unicellular organisms evolved into things that we see today, human beings, and they continue to shape us. Light in the morning sets our circadian rhythms. That's what we've evolved to see, and that is really incredibly important for our health. But just being outside, and like the kind of exercise in the outdoors that I've just done has been really, really great. It will do me no harm whatsoever. Can't really get enough of these views. Life in a hammock. Be better. One of my favourite artists, music artist, playing like post-rock ambient music called Hammock. I'd love to play some of their tracks now. Kick back here. Favorite album, Mysterium. Very, very beautiful piece. Seems to fit the scene. Not quite sure what music I'll use for the art video, for the music video from the Solomons and the whole of the Pacific. I have something in mind already for Papua New Guinea, but it'd be hard to find a piece that is suitable to reflect this kind of calming mood with the joyful optimism that comes with having utter freedom. Surely the greatest concept that we can have, freedom itself, free from the shackles of the things that ail us. And I won't run on too much, but you get the picture. I'm having a lovely time. It's absolutely amazing, and long may this continue. You know, this big trip around the Pacific will come to an end eventually, but what will be left are memories of times like this when I've been able to just truly let go and find utter peace that comes with freedom. It's been truly special, a magical place in the Solomon Islands. A magical hammock. Hello. Reflections from a Hammock by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I mean, Sead Seferovic. My book will come out. It takes a year to 3 years. I am writing the book. I've been researching it on this trip too. I have a further book here, Japan Before Perry, to get more of an insight into traditional Japan before the Tokugawa period, and you know, its influence on Kyoto and its citizens, which is a great chunk of the book is concerned with exploring the many places in Kyoto with scenic and cultural value, and philosophical discussions about the nature of reality, Buddhism, science, the things I talked about earlier, Yalden and Newberg, Varieties of Spiritual Experience. It's based on a book by William James, Varieties of Spiritual Experience. He was more of an agnostic. He left things open. He didn't want to make too many assumptions, but we know a lot about the brain. We can make a lot of assumptions about evolutionary psychology that answer many of our deepest held questions. They're not particularly mystical. They're not particularly complex even. Here from my hammock, I can't really think of a better way to spend precious moments here in the Solomon Islands. So it's over and out from me. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. And stay tuned for the next episode when we are going in search of the shipwreck, Roderick Bay. Peace.